It's the 17th of September 1944. Commanding officer of the 2nd Parachute Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel John Frost, is in one of thousands of transports carrying tens of thousands of men in Operation Market Garden.
Go, go!
Frost jumps into battle. Hundreds of shoots fill the sky as gathered German soldiers look up in wonder.
Waffenladen, Idioten! Im September gibt es keinen Schnee. Das sind Feinde.
With Frost and his men now on the ground, they number over 600 and they're in high spirits and ready to fight.
Come on, fellas. Go, go, go!
They make their way swiftly towards Arnhem, moving through villages and countryside.
Hurry up, men!
They hear heavy fighting in the distance. It seems the Germans are resisting the advance of the other British battalions. Under Tatum Water's command, A Company quickly make their way through the forest. Over 100 men expertly and quietly advance from tree to tree. The next minute is created by our sponsor, WWII. If leaping from the skies is your kind of thrill, you're not just an adrenaline junkie. You're in the making of a paratrooper. Imagine this, the cold rush of wind, the heart-pounding thrill of the jump, and the ultimate test of courage and skill. This is the daily reality for trainee paratroopers. It's not just about how well you can fight, but how effectively you can leap into the unknown. This clip was generated by today's sponsor, WWII. WWII is the world's most popular AI video creator with over 10 million users in 150 plus countries. Unlike other tools, it puts you in control, assisting with scripting, editing, and finding footage using simple text prompts. Start with a prompt and it generates a draft for you to refine creatively. Change the intro, find better footage, translate to Spanish, or even clone your voice for narration in any language. It saves you hundreds of dollars monthly by combining the functions of over 10 tools for just $20 a month. Use the QR code or the link in the description for double video generation credits. By the way, my voice was cloned with WWII in the clip earlier. Did you notice the difference? They encounter Germans, but expertly take them down or capture them as Arnhem gets ever closer. In Arnhem, the commander of the German garrison, General Major Friedrich Küssen, has no clue what to do or where to place his men. The reports from the battlefield are confusing and unclear. Fed up, Küssen gets into a car and drives to the front, rapidly making his way across town to see for himself. But it is a fatal mistake. Completely unaware of the situation, he and his driver round a corner, straight into the 3rd Battalion. The British are quick to raise their guns and open fire. Bullets riddle the staff car and the windows are broken. In a massive stroke of luck for the British, the German garrison are now without their commander. Now deep in the city of Arnhem, Frost and his men reach all the way to Arnhem Bridge, completely unopposed. With Küssen dead, the leaderless garrison around the bridge pays very little attention.
There she is, Nan. That's our bridge.
The buildings immediately surrounding the north side of the bridge are all commandeered by the British. Looking out over the bridge from his new command post, Frost can see that there is a pillbox and an armoured car parked right in the middle of the road.
No doubt there are even more Germans on the other side. We need to get across and hold the entire bridge. How's B&C Company doing?
Sorry, sir. Still no response.
Understood. Keep trying.
Yes, sir.
Unbeknownst to Frost, the other companies have met fierce resistance and are held up.
Okay, chaps, I need you on the bridge. Take out that pillbox.
They need to get to the other side of the bridge to clear the area, but for that, they'll have to face the pillbox and armoured car first.
Open fire!
The British get to work and open fire from the buildings. At the same time, soldiers on foot open fire, catching the pillbox completely by surprise, but it gives little advantage over such an armoured position. Inside the pillbox, the Germans take aim and unleash withering fire. The crackle of machine guns fills the air, and the paratroopers are driven back.
We may have better luck after dark.
As night falls, Digby has an idea.
Let's send a flamethrower.
A team of sappers armed with a flamethrower and a Piat anti-tank launcher sneaks its way around the buildings. Paratroopers continued to take pot shots at the pillbox, keeping them occupied. As out of sight, the sapper team approaches from the side. A sapper takes aim with a spring-loaded Piat. The projectile rocks the bunker with a deafening explosion. Immediately, the sappers push out and blast the bunker with a flamethrower, taking out the enemy within before they even have a chance to get back into the action. In a rush, the German garrison mount a response. 4 trucks fill up with men on the south side of the bridge and charge across at full speed. British machine guns rip through the lead truck, tearing it to pieces in the blink of an eye. It grinds to a halt as the other trucks try to maneuver around it, but they too meet the same fate. The convoy is stopped dead in its tracks. One of the trucks stops too close to the fire and it spreads onto it. The flames intensify and the troops on board pile out of the truck and surrender to Frost's men. But then there's a huge explosion, supercharging the fireball. The bridge is a wall of flame. It's so hot, the paint on the bridge itself starts to burn. The next morning, the men rise to the sound of engines.
Look! Attack from the north!
Outside, trucks carrying troops arrive from the north, driving right through the main road and parking just before the bridge, in full view of all.
From the south! They're coming from the south!
At the same time, a column of 22 vehicles, including armoured cars, are spotted on the south side of the bridge. The Germans in the lead truck to the north start to dismount.
Open fire!
Machine guns open up on the row of enemy soldiers, striking down many and sending all the others running in a panic. The trucks quickly withdraw. Meanwhile, in a pincer movement, the armoured vehicles arrive across the bridge. The British immediately set to work with Piats and mortar fires. Soldiers place mines across the road, and the lead car is destroyed. The rest start firing Allied positions on either side of the road. Their shots impact the building's masonry with force, but they hold. In response, the British anti-tank units quickly go to work on the armoured cars, destroying them one by one in massive explosions. British machine gun fire cuts through the remaining vehicles, and flamethrowers destroy whatever is left. But it soon becomes clear to Frost that despite their heroic battle, he needs supplies. He's proud of his men. These men are doing with hundreds a job that was meant for thousands. They need help. Technicians spend the whole day trying desperately to get through with the radio, attempting to regain contact with reinforcements. But there's nothing. That evening, the Germans bring out their heavy weapons. Flak guns are brought forth and fire into the homes along the riverbank. The structures collapse and catch fire under the relentless pummeling, forcing British machine gunners to flee for their lives.
The radio is finally working!
But while the situation seems impossible,
2nd Battalion.
Do you copy?
technicians call up to Frost. He gets right down to business, asking the 1st and 3rd Battalions about their status and position. But the news is bad. They've not been making progress. The German force is overwhelming. They ask Frost if he can help mount a counterattack from the Germans' rear, but they're way back at Osterbeek. Way too far.
Attack from the north!
Frost has little time to dwell on the events. An infantry attack comes from the north. A bitter fight takes place through the windows. Bullets are pinging off walls as they engage in close quarters fighting. The Germans eventually decide to withdraw. They have better plans. A large 10-centimeter artillery cannon is brought into the fight by the Germans. A giant boom is heard, followed by the collapse of a building. The British men fight back with small arms and mortars. The German gun blows up multiple homes. But eventually, A mortar hits its mark, detonating right on the gun and silencing the weapon. The following morning begins relatively peacefully. No mortars and no attacks. But the men are exhausted. They have next to no food and little water. They've suffered heavy casualties and are running out of ammunition, and yet still they hold on, determined to wait for reinforcements. Overlooking a road approaching the east, the British are surprised to see a German soldier waving a white flag tied to his gun barrel. The British allow him to approach. Defiantly, the German shouts up in English,
Surrender!
Do they want to surrender to us? What should we do, sir?
Tell them to go to hell.
Get the hell out of here! We're not taking prisoners!
The German, annoyed and embarrassed, moves away. The German commander looks on at the burning buildings. It's been hours since an offer of surrender has been made. It seems the British had made their choice.
Schick die Panzer!
That evening, the tanks of the 9th and 10th SS Panzer Divisions enter the beleaguered section of the city. They start firing indiscriminately, tearing down each and every single building. British forces fight back with all their might, firing mortars and Piats at the Panzer IVs roaming the streets. It becomes guerrilla warfare in the ruins. The British paratroopers are trying anything and everything to survive amidst the ruins. The next day, artillery again pounds the British, destroying and setting fire to the buildings. The Germans chip away. All the time, the British positions are shrinking as the inevitable juggernaut of the German forces comes into bear. Frost knows they have to go on the offensive to get some extra cover. He makes the short walk from battalion to the brigade HQ to discuss the idea. Everything goes dark. Frost opens his eyes, dazed and confused. He's on the floor. Men rush to his aid and take him to a cellar stuffed full of injured. The fighting continues, but quickly fires spread out of control by the HQ buildings. Finally, surrounded and nowhere to go, the medic surrenders the aid station to the Germans. Immediately, the Germans get to work and help extract the injured before the fire consumes them. Later that day, Frost and the injured are approached by the Germans. SS soldiers congratulate Frost and all the others for their valiant fight. But it was a praise Frost did not care for. By the end of the day, Frost's force had either perished or was captured. The promised relief never came, at least not when it really mattered. The armoured advance stalled just a few miles south of Arnhem, but by then, Arnhem was solidly in enemy hands. In a bold plan involving the capture of 5 bridges, the 6th, Arnhem Bridge, was just one bridge too far.